What if everything you think you know about space is wrong? Not slightly wrong, completely backwards. Most people think Saturn is the only planet with rings. But that's not true. Hidden in the darkness, 3 other giant planets are wearing rings too. Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune. They're just so thin and faint that we couldn't even see them from Earth. But here's the strange part. Some scientists believe Earth once had rings as well. Billions of years ago, a Mars-sized world slammed into our young planet. The collision blasted enormous amounts of debris into orbit, creating a temporary ring around Earth before eventually forming the Moon. And that raises a disturbing question. How many things in space are hiding in plain sight? Take black holes. Movies portray them as cosmic vacuum cleaners, endlessly sucking everything nearby into oblivion. Sounds terrifying, except it's wrong. A black hole doesn't hunt you down. If our sun suddenly became a black hole with the exact same mass, every planet would continue orbiting normally. Earth wouldn't get swallowed. We'd simply lose sunlight and freeze in darkness. But that's not even the craziest part. The Moon has a secret people constantly misunderstand. You've probably heard about the Moon's dark side. Except there is no dark side. Every part of the Moon receives sunlight. The reason we never see the far side is because the Moon rotates at exactly the same speed that it orbits Earth. It's permanently locked in place, showing us only one face. And this is where it gets weird. Even when astronauts stood on the Moon, surrounded by space itself, many reported seeing surprisingly few stars. How is that possible? The answer reveals something unexpected about our universe. And that's when things changed. Imagine a giant asteroid heading directly toward Earth. Hollywood says there's only one solution. Nuke it. But what happens next changes everything. Blowing up an incoming asteroid is actually one of the worst things we could do. Instead of one impact, we'd create millions of smaller fragments still racing toward Earth. Suddenly, the problem becomes much harder to survive. So what's the real plan? Scientists would likely detonate a nuclear device near the asteroid, not on it. The explosion's force would gently push the rock off course long before impact. Simple, elegant, potentially planet-saving. But here's the strange part. Protecting Earth isn't always about stopping giant space rocks. Sometimes it's about protecting the air we breathe and the water we drink. And while humanity worries about cosmic disasters, some of the biggest threats are happening right here at home. But let's go back to space. Astronauts actually grow taller in orbit. Sounds impossible, right? Without Earth's gravity compressing the spine, the vertebrae expand. Some astronauts gain up to 5 centimeters in height, but don't celebrate yet. The effect disappears the moment they return home. And that's not even the weirdest thing gravity does. Many people think astronauts age dramatically slower. Technically true, practically useless. Einstein predicted that time slows for objects moving at extreme speeds. But to notice meaningful age differences, you'd need to travel close to the speed of light. Current spacecraft aren't even remotely close. Then there's crying in space. Yes, astronauts can cry. No, the tears don't fall. Without gravity, liquid sticks to the eyes, forming floating blobs that can blur vision. A simple human emotion suddenly becomes a strange physics experiment. And that leads to an even bigger question. What other obvious truths about space are completely wrong? Mars seems dangerous because of its massive dust storms. Some storms can last for months. Others cover nearly the entire planet. Sounds devastating. Except the real story is completely different. Despite winds reaching incredible speeds, Martian dust storms aren't powerful enough to smash equipment apart. Mars has such a thin atmosphere that the fast-moving particles carry surprisingly little force. But here's the problem. The dust gets everywhere. It coats solar panels, drains power, and can force expensive rovers into hibernation. And this is where it gets weird. Even the stars are lying to us. At least, it looks that way. We've all heard the song, "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star." But stars don't actually twinkle. Their light is remarkably steady. The shimmering effect happens because Earth's atmosphere bends and distorts incoming starlight before it reaches our eyes. The stars aren't flickering. Our planet is. But that's not even the craziest part. Movies portray asteroid belts as deadly obstacle courses packed with tumbling rocks. Reality couldn't be more different. Most asteroids are separated by millions of kilometers. A spacecraft could fly through many asteroid belts without seeing a single asteroid nearby. The odds of collision are astonishingly small. And then there's one of the most famous myths ever created. The Great Wall of China isn't the only human-made structure visible from space. In fact, it's barely visible to the naked eye at all. Cities, bridges, dams, and glowing networks of lights are often easier to spot. One myth after another collapses. One assumption after another disappears. Which leaves us with a final unsettling question. If so many things we've believed about space turn out to be wrong, what other secrets are still hiding above us, waiting for the next discovery to rewrite reality once again?